pub years later. I listen to you speak, watched your movements, and my love for you had not diminished. I suggested you think of time, not in terms of time, but of moments, and the moments we now share are more than a life of time. And the moments we now share are more than a life of time.
Willkommen, ganz gediegene Atmosphäre gerade hier. Willkommen zu Music for Your Tipi Nummer 8. Wir sind wieder auf Sendung, euer Fachmagazin für gediegene Musik. Und wir haben heute ein ganz besonderes Line-Up hier. Wir haben nämlich heute Alex Spencer hier. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Und Alex Spencer ist nicht alleine, sie hat zwei Musiker mitgebracht, ihre Band. Ben Lehmann und Paul Engelmann, Kontrabass und alto sax. Yeah, welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks.
What we just heard was Moments, yeah? And Moments is part of your new record, which is brand new.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it just came out in April.
We have a very special night tonight because we have both folk and jazz. The whole album is based on that atmosphere, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my two strongest influences are folk and jazz. I started off singing jazz when I was a teenager, right. And I always thought I was just going to become a jazz singer, and that was that, because it was absolutely, to me, the most superior type of music that there is. And then I discovered the folk singers of the 60s and 70s, specifically Joni Mitchell. And that's when I started to write songs. So those are the two sort of rivers that flow into the music.
Okay. But you have not developed the sound of the album. You haven't developed that in the studio, but
playing
on
live,
stage,
yeah.
Right. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes, so I started originally to play with Ben. Together we played as a duo for about half a year or so, and then when I knew that I wanted to make this album and I needed other musicians, Ben suggested two guys that he played with in a trio. One was Paul and another guy was Frenze, who's a drummer. So then we started, I think we had 2 rehearsals in the winter, so in February, and then we just started playing gigs, and we played all through the spring and the beginning of the summer, and the structures of the songs were clear, and then every time we played them, the arrangements would solidify a bit more. And so by the time we went into the studio, everyone had a good idea of what the possibilities were in each of the songs. And then what actually happened on the day, when we went into the studio, I was feeling a bit anxious about, are we going to get the perfect version of each song? And I sort of let go of that idea and just thought, no, we're going to get the version of that day.
Right.
And it's going to be great, because actually all the versions, I feel that when I play with these guys, they're always great. So, yeah, that's what jazz is about as well, I think.
Okay, right. Then let's hear a second song, which is Toxic Mountain. Yeah, and as we're playing the song, you shot a video for that, yeah?
We have.
Just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a video up on my YouTube page to this song. We shot it in the winter, in the middle of Mecklenburg, in the wilds of Mecklenburg, and yeah, we had a great time, and I think it came out really well.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But first, we hear it on Music for Your Tipi, Alex Spencer with Toxic Mountain.
Her grandmother grew to be 100 years old. The house on the hill had to be packed up and sold. She told herself she'd never go back. She told herself she'd never go back, never go back, never go back. That was the place of imploding dreams, of whiskey for breakfast and her father's silent screams. She told herself she'd never go back. She told herself she'd never go back, never go back, never go back. She drank the Kool-Aid, believed in the lies. Ever since then she's been trying to get it out, been puking up bile. She told herself she'd never go back. She told herself she'd never go back, never go back, never go back to those toxic mountains, to those toxic mountains, to those toxic mountains, toxic mountains. Cut the ties, but the ties keep tying themselves back together. Cut the ties, but the ties keep tying themselves back together, 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 together.
jeder Song mehr und ich habe das Gefühl, ich bin unpassend gekleidet. Ich denke immer, ich muss einen Anzug anziehen, aber what we hear on the new record, Shine, is basically what we're hearing now. But you said you've given away the songs to the hand of the band, so it's more or less a live album, isn't it?
Yeah, the trio played live.
Yeah.
And then we put all the other tracks, because there are other instruments on the songs as well, and then we just overdubbed the others later on, a month or 2 months later. But the core sound of the album is the trio, and they played it all live. Yeah.
That makes it even more vivid. Yeah. Right, and the record is recorded by and produced by Jamie Collier.
Yes.
Who was on our show with Alice Rose.
Ah, yeah.
He used to be in our show a couple of shows before. Yeah, great. But this is not your first record. You've had a record before, but this is a while ago.
A while ago, yeah. Almost 10 years ago.
Right.
2010.
Yeah, as well.
Brought it out. Yeah.
Is it?
It's just there behind you.
Oh yeah, it's on the shrine.
On the shrine. Yeah.
It's underwater.
It's called Underwater, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that a similar sound, or is it
it's
a completely different direction?
It's quite a different sound. I think I recorded just with some friends, so there's some electric guitar on there, electric bass. It's quite different.
Okay. The next song, Shine. Can you tell us a bit about that? The title song of the album.
So it took me quite a while to really come down on a decision about what the album was going to be called.
Yeah.
And in the end, I decided on Shine because the song is really the first in this kind of new era of songwriting that I started. And I wrote the lyrics to it while I was sitting at the first open mic that I went to after a long period of staying at home and not really playing out so much. In 2016, November 2016, I was sitting in Madame Claude at their open mic.
In Kreuzberg?
In Kreuzberg, and I was waiting for my turn, and that phrase comes up in the song. But the song is generally about meeting maybe the right person, but at the wrong time.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Then let's hear it, eh?
He says we're only just beginning, but I'm the one dying. Been around the block too many times. He's still waiting. He's still waiting for magic. He says you can't force the process, but I'm the one sighing. Stuck in a bar full of hopeful young men. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my turn. If chance had been on our side years ago, and we we'd collided like planets while we were on the go. If we'd bumped into each other at a party or a gig, out in the endless freedom of space and time, how we would shine, how we would shine in the endless freedom of space and time, how we would shine, how we would shine. He says nobody knows the future. I'm the one crying. I am the sand in the hourglass. He keeps turning over. He keeps turning it over. He keeps turning it over. He keeps turning it over and over and over and over in the endless freedom of space and time. How we would shine, how we would shine in the endless freedom of space and time. How we would shine, how we would shine. We would
Vielen Dank. Thanks a lot. I should just mention Madame Claude. You're living in Kreuzberg. Yeah?
Yes.
So do I. We're basically neighbours.
Yeah.
And you've been away for a while from the folk scene or from the singer-songwriter scene, and that is a reason. Yeah.
There is a reason.
Yeah.
So I actually came to Berlin in the year 2000, fully expecting just to live the musician's life.
You're from England.
I'm from England, yeah. And what actually happened was that I met someone and I had 3 children. And so...
But that wasn't part of the story we've just heard. Yeah?
No.
Right.
That's not the person who's referred to, no.
Okay.
And so the musical, sort of living actively as a musician had to be somewhat postponed. Yeah. So then when my youngest child turned 9, I started to become more active in the music scene again. And it had changed very much because back when I came to Berlin, there really wasn't that much acoustic music going on. And now it's just sort of exploded.
But your music was always based on you and your guitar.
Yeah.
First place. And yeah, right. That would have been my next question. What you think when you say your first record is was out in 2010, the second record is out in 2019. Where's the difference? I mean, the city has changed, obviously, but the music scene has changed as well.
The music scene has changed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think my feeling was when I moved to Berlin, it was still very much a techno city.
Yeah.
That's why people came here and people were attracted to the club scene, and which they still are. But There weren't that many places that were offering acoustic music or singer-songwriter stages.
Right.
And there was an anti-folk scene just starting. The 4-track on stage guys were just beginning. And I played actually at one of the first 4-track on stage nights that they organised. And since then, they've also just really kind of skyrocketed.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I sort of then disappeared from the scene and then came back.
And now you're back into it. Yeah. But especially talking about Kreuzberg 36, has that changed?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm lucky enough.
And, you know.
Yeah, I have always lived in the Frankenkiez, so I moved into the Zorauer Straße, and then 2 years later I moved into the Oppelner Straße, one street across. And I mean, really, there's just such a multiple amount of places that you can play. I mean, certainly open mics. You know, you can play on a stage any night of the week, somewhere either in Kreuzberg or in Neukölln or in Friedrichshain. Yeah. So within a sort of 10-minute bike ride of my house. And that was very helpful to me when I was starting to play again, because I could very quickly get a sense of, okay, who's who, who's playing what, who can I connect with, and how can I sort of show myself again after all this time, just going to lots of different open mics. Yeah.
Do you take your kids with you?
No.
No.
The two teenagers, even if sometimes they could come,
not bothered.
They're not bothered. Exactly, not bothered. And my youngest is the one who would really like to. Who sort of is very enthusiastic about what I do, and she can't come. She's too young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But talking about open stages and the opportunity to play live, but money at the same time. Is it easier to get money from gigs now? Was it easier in 2000?
Oh, I think neither nor. I don't think it was easier back then. I don't think it's easy now. Yeah, I'm lucky enough not to have to rely on music for my income. But it's abysmal. I mean, it's just abysmal. When I organize gigs and bring my band with me, and sometimes it's just or there is an audience, or there's not very many people, and then the hat goes round, and sometimes it's just sometimes I have to put something in the hat myself so that these guys go home with a little bit of something.
And you check out the people with a copper. A question I have is, hang on. Right, it says, do insects feel like they are dying when they metamorphose from one stage to another?
Yeah, good question.
Good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And?
Well, I think they do. I think if they do think at all, which my son would say they don't think, but if they do think, then I think they must think they're dying, because they actually completely, like a caterpillar that's turning into a butterfly, in the cocoon, they turn into an actual liquid form. They turn into a kind of goo. And from this goo, the butterfly is formed. So I think the caterpillar must think that's it now. I'm goodbye world. And actually he's just turning into a butterfly.
Okay. Yeah. Is the insect song about this topic?
The insect song is certainly about that. So my son is an insect enthusiast, and not just an enthusiast, an expert really. And we have a lot of insects in our house or in his room. They usually stay in his room.
So he's cleaning up himself, or what?
Oh yeah, he does it all himself. He has a lot of terrariums. Although I must say that this week there was a loud scream from my daughter's room, and under a pile of her clothes that she lifted up, there was a millipede, a rolled-up millipede, which one doesn't want to find in one's room. And she went shrieking into my son's room, and he had left one of his terrarium doors open. But he does. It doesn't happen a lot, but occasionally it does. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's very into insects, and so I know a lot about insects, and so there's some information about insects in this song, but there's also this more of a philosophical musing about how it must feel to go from one stage to the other.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You're going to be on tour soon, yeah?
Yeah. We're going on tour to the UK in July, just before the hammer of Brexit comes down. We're just scooting in under the door. And yeah, we're really looking forward to that, playing in Scotland and in the north of England.
Okay. So, wenn ihr zufälligerweise in den nächsten Monaten in England, Schottland oder Italien seid?
In Italian, yes. We are in Italy as well in September. Yeah, beginning of September.
Im September auch noch nach Italien seid, dann folgt Alice Spencer mit ihrer Band auf Tour und vor allem folgt Alex Spencer im Internet und kriegt man das im Laden auch?
Ja.
Ja. Im Internet, im Laden, auf YouTube, Toxic Mountain, guckt euch das Video an und ich kann schon mal sagen, vielen Dank fürs Kommen. Ja, cheers for coming. Und vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wie immer, schreibt uns, findet uns gut oder schlecht, schreibt uns, guckt uns zu auf Alex Berlin und auf YouTube. Und bis zum nächsten Mal bei Show Nummer 9. Und hier kommt der Insect Song.
Insects don't grow, don't change their size, they metamorphosize. Each time they enter a new phase, it's an entirely new stage. And I wonder, does it feel like dying? And I wonder, do they look back, pining for what they were before they were what they were to become? Some shed their skin, renewing themselves from within. Others grow wings, don't eat anything, and they die within a week. And I wonder, does it feel like dying? And I wonder, do they look back, pining for what they were before they were what they were to become? For what they were before they were what they